will stand with the number of Salford travelling supporters away to the left-hand side. They'll be looking for big things of their side this afternoon. Niall Levels at full-back, Daryl Alforts and Ed Chamberlain the wingers, Chris Willems and Junior Sow are the centres, Robert Louis, who usually drives everything good about Salford, running things from standoff, with Jackson Hastings, a revelation since signing from the Manly Sea Eagles. At scrum half, Dan Merritt, Joshua Wood and Lama Tarsi are the starting front row for the Salford Red Devils. Josh Jones, Tyrone McCarthy, Mark Flanagan are the rest of the run-on forwards. Luke Burgess, Patiro and Nakabawai. Well, I hope I pronounced that right. On the bench with Greg Burke and Joey Lussick, another recruit from Manly. Willa Darcy, of course, playing for the Toronto Wolfpack, who are with another 4 teams on 4 points for the season, so it's as tight as a drum as far as the qualifiers are concerned. Plenty of excitement, still open to probably any sides who can take the impetus. Halifax facing a run of 3 away games against Super League opposition, with away at Hull KR next week and then Widnes the following week, before being at home to Leeds and wrapping up with an away trip down the M1 to the London Broncos. Daniel Merritt, Josh Wood at half-back, 2 players who played in Halifax colours. Mark Flanagan also worn the blue and white. So is Craig Kopchak, not in the squad today. Will Sharp takes the ball and loses it backwards and then gets flattened by Wood, Flanagan and Merritt, who concede an early penalty to Halifax, who will be glad of the opportunity to kick the ball away from their own red zone as Morrell puts into touch on the Halifax 40. Will Sharp will tap and go to himself and look for a gap, and almost through it. Murray and Wood, the tacklers, on halfway, coming the short side with Tangata back in the squad with a heavily strapped right knee. Injury problems blighting the Cook Islands international season for 2018, and already eyeing up Jackson Hastings as Halifax move it out wide, but the ball is knocked on by Ben Eaton on the far side. No James Saltonstall either this afternoon. Well, Halifax have been dominant for long periods of their opening 2 games. But a problem that began their 2018 with an ability to post points, and the same again at the start of the qualifiers. Although it has to be said that as the lowest of the teams, Halifax are always playing who perceived to be better opposition in the qualifiers, proving their part-time statement is no hindrance for their ability to match and dominate teams in patches through these early rounds. Just the ability, inability to score points, costing Halifax, and the scores not reflecting their effort and performance. Quick hands away, ball is put down by Junior Sow, under pressure from Will Sharp. Immense pressure from Sharp on Junior Sow. New Zealand and Samoan international is Junior Sow, with almost 50 tries in 110 games for Salford. Well, they were looking a bit ominous there, were the Salford Red Devils, but Will Sharp did a great job coming out and disrupting the play. And here he is again. Well, he's dropped the ball off to Ben Heaton, who's coming off the wing. And Ben Heaton meeting stiff defence from Salford. Ben Kay goes from acting half and then gets turned upside down by Chris Wellham. Got it, Josh Wood. Josh Wood it is. And Wood's red again around the legs. Griggs takes the ball up and over the halfway line. Referee this afternoon, Tom Grant, calling the Salford defence back, but they move up very quickly when the ball's played, and Dan Fleming charges it up to the Salford 40. Halifax looking for a quick play, and Ben Kay trying to put Evels under pressure. The ball goes down behind Niall Evels, and the referee is going to say, with the in-goal touch judge, that ball touched Niall Evels on the way through. Well, it didn't look like it, but the bounce of the rugby ball, never know where it's going to go. Mark Flanagan having something to say about the referee's decision, but the dropout reaches halfway. Kieran Moss gives it to Jordan Baldwinson, who gets back to the Salford 40. Dan Fleming off the short ball, bounce off two players. Need a tackle from Lama Tarsi to stop him. Baldwinson again gets it away to Tangata, but Tangata stopped by Jones and Merritt on the 20-metre line. Halifax with the first real opportunity, but Baldwin electing not to pass and taking it to within 15 metres of the Salford line. Fleming gets it away to Shane Grady, launches himself into that Salford defence, but they're equal with the defence. Kick through is from Ben Johnson. Now will that count as Halifax ball? Did a Salford player play for it? And the referee says yes, so Halifax will get another 6 tackles to pressure this Salford line. The Halifax supporters making plenty of noise in the south stand. The Salford supporters were when their side was in the Halifax half, but not so at the moment. And despite his walking away from Salford, Marwan Koukash is still a highly visible figure, or certainly was before the game, in the Salford dugout. Fleming taking it forward into a 3-man defensive Salford wall 10 metres out. Morell goes right and Kay goes left. Griggs thought about the pass, but perhaps Baldwin was too well. He thought about the pass and he did get away eventually. Kieran Moss gets it away to Grady. Grady gets the ball out, and Sam Wood swatting players off as he comes across the defensive line. And well, if it had been going forward, then he would have scored a try, would Sam Wood. With Halifax still pressing forward with Tangata going towards the Salford line. Halifax 3 metres away. Oh, and a poor pass from Ben Kay goes along the floor, and Salford may be able to capitalise from this, but Robert Louis brought down Halifax. A rush of blood perhaps, as they were close to the line. And it's all about respect and possession of the football. And Halifax losing control, allowing Wellhams to take the first run out of defence. And the chip over the top, and there's a chase on from Tyrone McCarthy, and the ball is out of play in the Halifax red zone. And Ian Watson, the Salford coach, another former Halifax player. Over 10 years since Ian Watson played for Halifax. It doesn't seem that long ago, but certainly learned his trade under Tim Sheens at Salford before Sheens moved to OKR. And Ben Heaton trying to take it away from the Halifax try line. I'm sure Salford will be in no mood to let Halifax off lightly. But Ben Kay doing a good job as he gets almost up to the 30-metre line. Scott Morrell gets it to Chester Butler. Chester Butler gone through the defence, and Kieran Moss with just the wrong side there. He's gone into the acting half, and Johnson looks to capitalise on that far side with Wood again. Out to Ben Heaton. Heaton gets it back inside, and Sam Wood gets the return and puts Halifax's first point on the board, the first point to the game. Chester Butler's break through the defence might have brought more. Kieran Moss being on his left hand side, but he'd gone inside, but got back quick enough to play the ball. Got the pass out to Sam Wood, and Ben Heaton looked as though he was heading for the corner, but the Salford defence got across, and Ben Heaton managed to get the ball back inside for Sam Wood to score his first try in Halifax colours and put them into an unlikely lead against the Salford Red Devils. Well, it all looked to be going a bit pear-shaped when they lost the ball under the Salford post and finished up back in their own red zone. But Halifax have conjured up a superb try from absolutely nothing, from 40 metres out. And Sam Wood, for the moment, has more than made up for the lack of club top try scorer Steve Tyra with his first of the season for Halifax. Credit the quick play from Kieran Moss and the speed and decisiveness and thought of Ben Heaton to get the ball back inside, and Sam Wood to be there in support. And the Salford supporters stunned into silence. Shane Grady has missed from the touchline. Well, Halifax may need the tries. Near the uprights, they gave it plenty of oomph, did Shane Grady. Couldn't find the target, but Halifax 4-0 up after 10 minutes. And Heaton underneath it. He gives it inside to Baldwinson. Well, this is where Halifax started the build up to the last try. Morrell gets it away to Will Sharp. Sharp tries turning inside. Tackled by Tyrone McCarthy. McCarthy there again with Josh Wood. Halifax edging the way away from their own line, and Johnson takes that one, but the ball's gone loose. And Halifax have got to defend now. Wellham gets up and plays it quickly. Halifax struggling to get back. They do eventually, and the second tackle made 3 metres out from the Halifax line, and Scott Morrell, Halifax captain, giving away a penalty. And this will give Salford a chance to set themselves up with Josh Wood looking at Merritt. Back to Wood. Oh, it doesn't. He goes on his own, Daniel Merritt, and he's almost pushed towards the Halifax line by the blue and white defence. Josh Wood gets it away, and Halifax are left clutching thin air as Jackson Hastings. I suppose it was inevitable it would be Hastings. And there's a few disagreements behind the line. It looks like Adam Tangata has got an eye out for Jackson Hastings. Halifax come up with the error that allows Salford in for a fairly easy try. Well, Hastings made it look easy. On the back of Morrell's penalty. Well, Jackson Hastings is former Sydney Roosters, Manly, an Australian schoolboys player, and speculation already over where he may be next season, as he seems to be the catalyst for Salford's form in the playoffs. And Chamberlain Sign from Widnes. Twin brother also at Widnes, both played at Whitehaven. Josh Jones is another Widnes player, he's on loan and he's scored the try, I think, that helped Salford beat his parent club Widnes in the opening round. Simpler kick for Chamberlain, but he's pulled his wide to the left hand side of the upright, so it stays at 4 points all on 13 minutes. Hastings through the Halifax defence, needs to be watched. Well, that one has dropped to Hastings in the in-goal area. He gives it inside to Alphonse, I think it has gone inside. Well, it's Lamatasi rather, who's lost the ball in collision with Halifax, who immediately have an opportunity to respond to that try from the Salford Red Devils with a scrum down on the Salford 10-metre line. Well, there was a hesitation between Alfords and Jackson. Jackson eventually gave the ball to Lamatasi, and Lamatasi, one of the most experienced and decorated players on this Salford side, was pressured into spilling the ball up. Kieran Moss looking for a way through, couldn't find it. Johnson goes on his own, and Johnson away from one and then turned over 5 metres out from the Salford line. Looked as though he was on his way then, but there were always Salford defenders there. Griggs to Morrell, Morrell to Kieran Moss, and Kieran Moss gives it to Chester Butler, and not sure Chester Butler was expecting that, but he's got to within 3 metres of the Salford line. Griggs goes on his own, disappears under 3, 7 metres out. Ben Kay moves into acting half, goes on his own from acting half, and he's held up on the line by the Salford defence as the referee Tom Grant signals the last tackle. Morrell kicked through, and that looked like a knock on. The referee's not listening to the appeal, so maybe it came off the leg. This time a safe carry from Lamatasi, and Junior Sow trying to plunder his way forward. Halifax bring him down eventually. They didn't gain any metres, going to pass back a metre by the defence, and Lamatasi again driving the ball in very strongly, but Halifax marking up well in defence, and last tackle is signalled with Salford only just outside the 30. Robert Louis will go to the air again, and that one could be awkward, depends where it's going. And Chester Butler, well, its referee has said it's still last tackle. It looked like Chester Butler had got a hand to that. There's appeals from the centre Chris Wellham on the far side. Oh, Halifax will be relieved at that one, because I think it looked to everyone in the ground as though Chester Butler had touched that one, but the way he jumped up into the air, looks as though he'd knocked it forward, but he got away with it. Sharp out to Tangata, who misses the rush out tackle of Junior Sow. Will Sharp again going inside, and Will Sharp running into an offside player. Well, by accident or deliberately, it's won Halifax a second penalty, which will take them down to the 20-metre line in the Salford half of the field. Griggs to Baldwinson. Halifax only gaining a couple of metres in an attempt to get the ball across the field. Johnson gets it to Kieran Moss, and Kieran Moss short ball to Sam Wood, and Wood is down and almost back up again, but the Salford defence smother Sam Wood before he can get back to his feet. Shane Grady, another loose pass, and Griggs is back on the 20-metre line as Halifax struggle again to keep the composure. Kieran Moss out to Morell, and this time Morell's lost it. Chester Butler's lost it forward. And problems again with Halifax completing the sets. Well, you really just can't afford to give the ball away in matches like this. When it's going right for Halifax, then it looks okay, but there's quite a few passes going loose. Shane Grady's a loose one on the floor. And a hot afternoon, temperatures in the mid-20s or low to mid-20s. And September looking like it might be another warm month. Really fine weather football, and not the amount of errors you would expect to see. And Halifax will be hoping it doesn't cost them. Jordan Baldwinson receiving quite a lot of attention. Could mean a change. Halifax, but Baldwinson back on his feet. Jacob Fairbank is off the Halifax replacement bench, and Jordan Baldwinson will be replaced. I'm sure the Halifax medical staff will be working on Jordan Baldwinson. Thankfully he can walk from the field. I'm sure Richard Marshall will be hoping he can walk back on later on, because the last thing he wants is to be down to 16 fit players, especially on a warm afternoon like this against Super League opposition. Junior South tackling from Chester Butler and Scott Morell as a powerhouse as Junior South. Daryl Alforts, who signed from Newcastle, he's to force his way into the Salford side this season. Flanagan gets it away. Robert Louis might go on his own. Well, he's not had much to do so far, and not stamped himself on this game as much as you would have expected from Robert Louis. Hastings gets the pass away to McCarthy. McCarthy knocked back towards halfway there. Big hit from Ben Kay. Back to Hastings for the kick. Plenty of bodies around the ball. Wellham comes up with it, and Salford with an opportunity, and they're going to get a second try. And it's going to be Ed Chamberlain who gets in. Halifax unable to challenge for the high ball, and Wellham able to take it and get the pass away to Chamberlain for Salford to take the lead for the first time. And Halifax left a little shell-shocked. Normally able to defuse the kick from the high ball, but not on this occasion. And Wellham, with all his experience, 10 years at Hull KR, for Chris Wellham, also played for Bradford, a Challenge Cup finalist in 2015. And he'll return to his teammates after receiving attention. Halifax managed to get the man, but didn't get the ball. And well, I'm able to get the ball out. Chamberlain running it in at the corner. And Halifax 4, Salford 8. Around the midway mark in the first half. And Watson's men carving out a lead from a kick from Robert Lewett. Halifax were able to counter the threat of the Salford standoff with ball in hand, but weren't able to defuse, and Chamberlain has got the conversion with the assistance of the post. And his first conversion makes it Halifax 4, Salford 10. Morrell restarts. And Hastings underneath it again. Gives it inside to Lamatase. And Jacob Fairbank got brushed away then. That doesn't happen that often. And Alfort's trying to spin out of the Halifax tackles, and suddenly Salford are making a few more metres going forward with the ball. Junior Sow. Well, Halifax have moved in quickly to take him out just outside the Salford 30. Josh Wood, Flanagan handing it on again. Hastings to Robert Lewett, and Lewett looking for an opportunity, gets the pass away. Halifax managed to get across in numbers to help Sam Wood effect the tackle. Shane Grady there on the Halifax 40, but Salford pouring forward, and Daniel Murray takes the ball and then drops it. High fives all round for Halifax as the pass is called forward, but Murray dropped the ball anyway, so Halifax will get possession. Put the ball across field. Johnson's going to feed the scrum. Scott Morrell staying out wide. Will Sharp has moved in. Kieran Moss has moved up from full back into the position at standoff where Scott Morrell would normally be. The referee has called for attention from for Lamatase, who looks to have some blood coming from the head. And finally the scrum will take place. Kieran Moss gives it to Will Sharp, and Sharp into Jackson Hastings. Keeping Sharp on the ground as long as he can. Dan Fleming will take it over halfway for Halifax, gets up and plays it quickly. Chester Butler inside to Adam Tangata, and Tangata running hard but being put down even harder by the Salford defence. Ben Kay to Griggs, Johnson to Shane Grady. Grady taking the ball up to the 30-metre line. Johnson gets it away to Fairbank, and Fairbank is held by 3 Salford defenders, won't go to ground. Last tackle. Morrell tries to give Halifax an advantage with a kick as Tangata gets to it. Last tackle, and can't get the ball away. Smothered to the ground by Daryl Alforts and Junior Sow. Alfords taking the ball up. Daniel Murray and Josh Wood are being replaced. Joey Lussick and Nakabuai on for Salford. Doing Lussick, well, him and Hastings know each other pretty well both through Sydney Roosters, Manly and Australian schoolboy internationals at the same time. And Lussick is not quite as big as Darcy's big brother, the prop from Toronto. Halifax being pushed back and will be tested no doubt with a kick on the last tackle again from Hastings. Across the defensive line, Sharp goes up for it and it comes off Sharp, goes straight into the hands of the Salford defence, and Salford are given another easy try off another Halifax error. Will Sharp unable to take the kick again. Well, the kick undoing Halifax again. The high kick from Hastings. Will Sharp rose high enough to take it but couldn't take the ball in. Well, I think it went into the hands of Hastings, who was able to put Alfords in unopposed in the corner. And Chamberlain will take his time lining up the kick, with the referee finally stopping the clock with 16 minutes left of the first half. Don Fleming and Ben Kay being replaced by Brandon Moore and Will Mark, while Chamberlain attempts to extend the Salford lead from 10 to 12 with another conversion 3 metres in from the touchline in front of the east stand. Pulled it left last time, too far right this time. So crucially for Halifax, that's a 12-point gap. An important kick for Chamberlain, could have made the difference, 14 points, which means 3 scores for Halifax. Still need to score twice. They need to keep the possession, and they also need to find a way of defusing these Salford bombs, which now have come with 2 tries from 2 kicks. On the 20, Halifax making the tackle and putting the ball carrier Alfords down eventually. Jones driving it forward up to the 30-metre line. Halifax slow to clear the ball. Simon Griggs conceding the penalty. The first Salford penalty is going to let them get back into the Halifax half. Hastings will kick for touch, and Salford 30 metres away, are looking to impose themselves on this game, which they will do if they can come up with some more points from this. Junior Sow will drive it up and tackle 22 metres out. Halifax trying to spin him round. Lussick to Hastings. Pushing forward with Nakabuai. Robert Louis manages to offload to Evels, who scored 3 tries in a 50-18 win for Salford over Halifax in 2015. Coming the short side, it's a scrappy play again. Josh Jones will pick it up and Halifax will give him time to run across the defensive line. Salford still pushing. And Salford over again. And I think it's Ben Nakabuai, Patiro Nakabuai, who scored. Well, they went down with a low trajectory. Well, this game slipping away from Halifax. Still 13 minutes to go in the first half. Would that be another nail in the coffin of this Halifax performance this afternoon? Nakabuwai close to the line, head down, and running towards the ground. Halifax unable to stop him getting the ball over and touching it down, making it Halifax 4, Salford 18. And surely Chamberlain is going to make it 20 from in front of the post. Simplest conversion of the afternoon for Ed Chamberlain. And after a bright start and an early lead, Halifax conceding now. Well, there will be 20 points when Chamberlain kicks this. I can't see him missing it. To restart again. The long kick, Hastings underneath it. Hastings gives it inside to Lamatasi again, but this time the Halifax defence are charging in. It's done some damage. So Nakabuwai it's got up struggling as the try scorer with a shoulder injury. Doesn't seem any agency from the Salford medics to get on the field. And Halifax again being pushed back. Good run by Lamatasi. Great ball from Louis inside to Niall Levels. Has support both sides. Hastings gets it away. Referee's in the way. And he's going to call a knock on there. And Halifax will be grateful the referee being the 14th man for them there, getting in the way. Could have been an unassailable lead for Salford. Looked on the verge of scoring another 4 points there until Tom Grant got in the way. And Will Sharp driving it forward, but Salford more determined in defence. Lussick and Greg Burke. Surely there's got to be a penalty there. Benin claiming for the penalty, Brandon Moore getting on with it, but no different to Simon Griggs being in the way when Halifax conceded that penalty earlier. Wilmar up to the 40 metre line. Halifax back in the Salford half. Brandon Moore gets it to Adam Tangata. Short offload from Moore. Tangata did the best he could. Morell tests Evans with the kick again. Under pressure, lots of chasers there, and Niall Evans is tackled but managed to stay in the field of play. And Alfords taking the ball out. Halifax had needed a few more in defence there, but Captain Scott Morell made the tackle. Junior Sow runs into 4 Halifax defenders, which leaves them a little bit light in defence should Salford opt to throw the ball out wide. Lussick to Lewett, and here it goes. Wellams put down just over 30 metres out from the Salford line. Less than 10 minutes to go. And Luke Burgess on for injured Petra Nakabuwai. Robert Lewis skipping past 2, still managing to keep his feet and then offloading. Still the last tackle signalled by the referee. Halifax make the tackle. And I think Simon Griggs has gone down there with a possible head injury. A few Halifax players gasping for breath. I think there's 1 or 2 Salford players out. Once again, Halifax have left the mark on the opposition with Nakabuwai leaving the field injured. after a big hit from the Halifax side. Jordan Baldwinson doesn't appear to have an ice pack or any sort of medical aid around that injured. Well, I say it's not his left leg, it's his right leg, which unfortunately I can't see, but maybe he has. And Simon Griggs take one to the jaw. Halifax running out of replacements. Liam Cooper will come on to make his home debut, on loan from St Helens till the end of the season. Chester Butler trying to get every metre out of that run. Will Mark doing the same and getting over halfway, and would have got further, but for Lamatasi around the legs, halting his progress. Tangata takes the ball, short ball off Morell. Johnson. Moss linking up from full back. Good tackle by Wellams, who gets out of the way very quickly. Johnson drops the shoulder, tries to find a way through, but three defenders around him. Last tackle signalled by the referee, so we'll go back to Morell for another tester for Alfords. And this time Alfords, well, he's done well there. He's in the in-goal area under pressure from three, but managed to get back into the field of play. Junior Sow takes out 10 metres from the Salford line. And Alfords bringing it forward again. Probably got 7 or 8 metres further forward than he should have done then. Halifax should have had hands on him a little bit earlier. Luke Burgess famously went to South Sydney with his 3 brothers. In the Premiership in Australia. A huge kick. Kieran Moss has had to go back for it, and Moss gets away from Robert Louis. Steps inside, but there's plenty of Salford defenders following up Robert Louis' chase. Ben Heaton gets away from one, but not the second. Trying to get up play quickly. Scott Morell goes for a 40-20. Well, that's not going to trouble Niall Levels rather, who picks it up in the red zone. Heaton misses the tackle. Levels gets the pass away. Halifax get possession. It's a free play. Wilmar will be tackled by Robert Louis. 0 tackle. Robert Louis making no attempt to get out of the way. And Brandon Moore caught by Hasty. Well, that's twice now that Halifax have had a clear case for a penalty, with the Salford players not moving out of the way. And again, well, the pass wasn't the best, and Fairbanks had to reach down for it and couldn't bring it in. And Halifax, with plenty of tackles in the bag, managed to throw away possession. Oh, well, Jordan Baldwinson just been handed crutches. Well, that's not looking good for Richard Marshall's side. Well, that could mean only 16 men for Richard Marshall for the rest of this game. Wellham drives it away on the far side for Salford from the scrum, gets over the 20-metre line. And Halifax penalised for offside. Well, it's a low penalty count, but that second one to Salford gives them an opportunity perhaps to post more points before half time. 5.5 minutes left in the first half. Burgess lost himself in the Halifax defence, but the defensive wall was solid. But Salford still pouring forward up to the 10-metre line with Burke, and Louis receives what looked like a forward pass, Lussick in acting half to Hastings. Hastings to Lamatase. Salford still 8 to 9 metres away, but still with tackles in the bag. Lussick gets it away. Burgess has another go. Burgess has put down 3 metres away. Salford stacking players on the right. The kick through. It's still the last tackle. Hastings gets the ball away. Men outside. Alfords for the corner. And Alfords will get in on a simple last play. Nothing Will Sharp could do, but Hastings should have been wrapped up. Managed to get the pass away. They moved it out wide. And Halifax has normally reliable defence. Is melting away somewhat this afternoon as Alfords gets his second try. Halifax probably would have expected to find it difficult to dominate in this game. The Super League side, Salford, who have been on the up throughout these qualifiers, but the defence has been so good for Halifax over this season doesn't seem to be there this afternoon. Some easy tries for the Salford side with ball in hand, and too easy that they should score 2 of the tries off the kicks. So Chamberlain, will it be third time looking from this near touchline? One either side of the upright so far. Halifax supporters trying to put him off. Oh, it's taken a long time. Well, he's managed it this time as Chamberlain. Leaving Halifax 22 points behind at Halifax 4. Salford 26. Well, it's going to be an almighty effort for Halifax now. They're going to get themselves out of this one. Lewis stops it with his legs, throws it inside, tackled by Grady just outside the 20 metre Salford red zone. Halifax struggling a bit in defence to put down the Salford ball carrier, who was Tyrone McCarthy. Greg Burke manages to offload, unfortunately for him it's gone backwards. Lamatase gets to halfway. Hastings brings Jones back on the inside, and Jones looked for the offload but was unable to get it away, but Salford edging ominously closer to this Halifax line as Lussick gets it away. Halifax come up for it, and Robert Lewett quite rightly penalised for a rather reckless shoulder charge on Chester Butler. Halifax have a minute and 40 seconds to try and reply and lower that deficit of 26 points to 4. Inability to score points haunting them again. Shane Grady gets it away to Will Marr, and Will Marr goes off towards that Salford line, and Halifax 25 metres away and need something to give them a bit of a hope for this second half. But again, the ball's being put down, and with a minute left, Salford come pouring forward again with Burke support outside from Junior South. Tangata's been left on the floor, struggling. So Halifax down to 12 in defence. Maybe they'll be relying on Tom Grant again to put himself in the way, but Halifaks gets over the 40. Lussick inside to Burgess. Burgess to Robert Louis. Look for the inside ball again. Then got away from the Halifax defenders. Launches it out wide. Chamberlain on for a pass, and Welland back inside. Halifax defence again nowhere to be seen. And Robert Louis showing his match-winning potential there by bouncing Halifax defenders off. Getting the ball out wide. Welland in at the corner. Chris Wellham's heaping more agony on Halifax. Adam Tangata leaving the field. Well, Halifax rapidly running out of numbers. Also rapidly running out of defenders each time Salford power forward. A minute to go, the ball put down at the other end of the field in the or on the Salford red zone, and suddenly Salford at the other end of the field touching down. 6 tries. And Chamberlain looking for his 4th conversion. Well, he's missed again, so it could have been a lot worse for Halifax, although as it is, it's a big mountain to climb in the second half. After opening the scoring at 4 points to 0, 6 unanswered tries, 3 conversions from Chamberlain. And Salford Red Devils well and truly on the way, you would think, to another victory to get the second half underway. Ben Heaton gives it inside to Moss. Halifax playing passing football from the kick-off in their own front of their own post. Well, Tangata is back on. The medics obviously worked on him through the half-time break. Liam Cooper, and that's a high tackle, which has left Liam Cooper on the floor. Burgess looked to be going in for some afters then, but the referee quickly blowing the whistle. Gives Halifax a 4th penalty of the game. Can Halifax make anything of it from just inside halfway? Will Marr will charge it up. Well, Tazi missed him, and Marr managed to run the 5 metres out of the run. Had Lussick all over him. Kieran Moss gets it out to Ben Heaton, and Ben Heaton just unable to get the ball away to the support. Sam Wood perhaps a little late there. Halifax showing a bit of opportunism from the first set of 6 tackles in the second half. Almost looked like Ben Heaton was around the outside then. Chamberlain managing to get him into touch, so Halifax will have to defend from the scrum. 11 metres out from the Salford line. So there'll be plenty of soul searching going in that dressing room during the half-time break. Here comes Burgess driving it forward. Not unlike his 3 siblings in the NRL. Tom, George and Sam. And Greg Burke avoiding the first attempted charge from Will Marr there, but wrapped up and thrown to the ground on his back. Not happy with the attention he got in the tackle, but he's got up and played the ball. And Jones will be swamped by the Halifax defence 30 metres out, so we'll go back. Hastings for the kick off the outside of the foot. Junior Sow chasing down, and Kieran Moss almost back to his feet then, but Halifax begin the task of taking the ball a long way upfield, and unable to do it like that with defence all over Will Sharp rather. And Ben Heaton trying to take the ball away. Kieran Moss off the back of a quick play, the ball takes Halifax over the 30 metre line. That's good play, Salford defenders leaving him alone. Fairbank back on the inside ball, gets it away to Brandon Moore. Brandon Moore running out of options, has to go on his own. Go to Morrell for the kick off halfway line on the last tackle, and Alford's able to give it inside to Niall Evels, and Evels will fancy his chances, but defence waiting for him as he takes the ball forward towards the Salford 30 metre line. Chamberlain going inside and looking for work, helping out the forwards. Oh, and Hastings ghosting through the Halifax defence. Easy ball inside to Alfords, and once again the Halifax defence melting away. Jackson Hastings selling a dummy and Halifax falling for it. And Alfords with his first touch of the second half gets his hat-trick. Well, he was on 2 for the season in 15 appearances, was Daryl Alfords, the former Hemel Stag, the Newcastle Thunder player. Well, he's doubled his tally and a bit more this afternoon with his 3rd try. Well, Salford sold out the full allocation of tickets, and I don't think there'll be any Salford supporter who'll be disappointed this afternoon. But what they've seen from their side is not only is a rare away victory, but a very convincing one at the moment. Chamberlain lining up another conversion from in front of the post. The last thing Halifax would have wanted to do was concede early in the second half. They were on the cusp of scoring their own try through Ben Heaton, but he was forced into touch. And once again Salford have conjured up a try from a play that started in their own half of the field. And the uphill struggle gets a little bit harder for Halifax. Lamatase takes it forward. Well, fighting for the survival in the Super League. Salford are certainly doing that. Halifax fighting for some respect this afternoon. Hastings gets it away to Junior Sow. And that is a powerful run by Junior Sow, brought down eventually by Will Sharp. Making 20 metres, which is the strength of the Samoan international. Robert Louis gets it away. Halifax get back to McCarthy, but the referee has seen a forward pass. Much to the joy of the Halifax supporters, who'll be looking for anything in the second half that will stop Salford pouring forward and adding more misery on the men in blue and white. Grade it, running off Brandon Moore's pass at the back of the scrum. Wilmar takes it up for Halifax. He's pushed away juniors out, not an easy task, but Liam Cooper takes it over halfway, scrapping for the meters but losing the ball in an attempt to get further forward. Halifax completion rate letting them down yet again. Difficult enough without giving possession away easily to their opposition this afternoon. The referee not happy with something that's gone on at the scrum. So we'll have another go. Let's see if we can get it right this time. Burke gets it away to Robert Louis, and Louis trying to stamp himself into the game again with a run that takes him over halfway. Lussick gets it back to Burke again. Second run in this set of 6 for Greg Burke, the on loan player from Widnes. Burgess gets it away. Oh, great ball back inside. Hastings and Jones working well there to try and set up Evels on the inside ball. Wellham takes the pass from Louis, and Ben Johnson eventually gets Wellham's down with assistance from Grady and Sam Wood. Robert Louis gets the ball away, and Lamataze looking for a try. Halifax unable to stop the big Samoan international. Well, they saw plenty of glory with St Helens, did Lamataze, before moving to Salford. Samoan international, another former Sydney Roosters player, and also Brisbane Broncos. Well, the Salford supporters have plenty to sing about, not so for the Halifax side. Well, it would be a disappointment to everybody, not least the players and coaching staff, after the heroic efforts this season. Watson with his coaching staff of Willie Portin and Martin Gleeson, and the help in recent weeks of Hastings and Lussick have become a revitalised team as Chamberlain kicks another conversion. Salford had their issues themselves with their point scoring ability at the start of the season. Robert Louis had a problem with his handling there as he was puts the ball down. Just having a look at Ben Heaton there, Robert Louis. With a lot of Australian experience, Robert Louis, West Tigers and the North Queensland Cowboys. Morrell to Moss. Moss gets it to Chester Butler, who tries to spin out of the arms of the attempted tackle. Halifax coming back to the left with Fairbank to Wilmar. Wilmar running into heavy traffic just to the right hand side of the post as Halifax look at it. Ben Kay Well, had the leg drive, but not the power to get through the 4 Salford defenders on the line. Brandon Moore goes on his own, and Brandon Moore, well, can he get his arm out? Brandon Moore, he can't. The in-goal touches and the referee both in close there. Ooh, not the best of passes to Fairbank, and McCarthy all over Fairbank as soon as he got the ball, and then reinforcements there as well. Last tackle, Will Mark to Moore, kick out from Scott Morrell. It's taken by Will Sharp, but Will Sharp is forced into touch on the far side of the field. We'll see at least Halifax turn it over on the Salford 10, but that's no consolation considering where Salford have managed to score the tries from this afternoon. Halifax can do no more than try and finish the sets as near the Salford line as possible. Burgess turned over and dunked on his back on the 20-metre line. Jordan Baldwinson doesn't appear to have come out of the sheds for the second half. Well, another indiscretion. With Salford at first penalty the second half. Jackson Hastings put Halifax back in the own half of the field. Chamberlain takes the first drive. Benkei and Grady trying to rag him to the floor. They get him down eventually. Lussick to Hastings, Hastings to Lasatame, Lamatase even. Burke gets it away to Louis, queuing up here. Chamberlain takes the ball, but Sam Wood managing to get back. Ben Heaton had shot out of the line. And luckily Sam Wood was there for Halifax to cut out the opportunity. Louis gets the ball to Hastings, Hastings over the top, and Alfort's looking for a 4th try. Tackled by Will Sharp. Josh Jones put down, last tackle. Salford have got back down, and Hastings wouldn't bet against him going himself. And Junior Sow has been given a try despite the protest of the Halifax players. None more so or more vocal than Halifax captain Scott Morrell.
A try scorer for Salford, number 4, Junior Sow.
It looked like they managed to stop him. This is turning into an annihilation by the Salford Red Devils. 14 minutes gone in the second half, 46 points. And Halifax have only 1 try to show in response. Well, looks like it's going to be a long, hard road for Halifax in the playoffs. The Super League competition for the next 3 weeks. And only Widnes finished lower than the next 2 opponents, Hull Kingston Rovers and Leeds. And Hull Kingston Rovers managing to beat Leeds at Headingley yesterday. You would probably suggest at this stage that Widnes are prime candidates for relegation without a win. Junior South receives attention. Ed Chamberlain lines up another shot at goal. On the 20 metre line, 3 metres in from touch on the far side. Well, can't say he's short of practice, but he's still struggling to find the mark. And 5 conversions on the back of 9 tries. Salford leading 46 points to 4. Halifax opting for the short kick-off. Robert Louis takes the ball. Kieran Moss puts him down. Robert Louis doesn't like being tackled. Wellham's tackled on the 30 by Kieran Moss. Again, McCarthy will drive it forward, and Halifax have plenty of bodies around him on the 40 metre line. And showing determination in defence. Burke gets it out wide. This way Halifax are struggling with the numbers they're putting on this side. Junior Sow gets it away to Alfords on look like a half a metre forward pass. Salford Hastings putting the ball down. It's come off a Halifax hand. The referee indicates that Salford may have knocked it forward there, or passed forward. Yeah, short reprieve for Halifax. And the scrum down just inside their 30 metre line with Scott Morrell to feed the scrum. Salford confident enough not to have anybody at dropping back at full back. All Evans is doing now. Kieran Moss going into the game a bit more as Will Mars replaced by Dan Fleming. He's gone straight into the middle looking for a touch, but it goes outside to Grady, who beats the first tackler. Lama Tarsi and Robert Louis making sure there's no opportunity of a pass. Ben Johnson gives it to Brandon Moore. Well, everywhere the ball is with Halifax, there seem to be 3 Salford defenders. Halifax being smuggled out of the game a little bit. Oh, Sam Wood tried the one-handed tap onto Ben Heaton. Well, didn't really look first, but Halifax just trying anything and riding the luck to see if they can get anything out of this game. And at the moment, the answer is no, they were not going to get anything. Sam Wood frustrated with himself. And again, one of them things, if it had come off, it would have been fantastic. But like so many things for Halifax this afternoon, that one not coming off. Another one on the list of incomplete sets as Jones takes it forward, the former St Helens man. Well, there were plenty of honours before with Saints before he went to play rugby union for Exeter Chiefs and Taunton. Josh Jones. Ball back inside, Lama Tarsi trying to run over the top of the Halifax defence. 19 minutes left in the second half. Jones gets it away to Junior Sow. Too many players for Junior Sow to get over for the second try there. Last tackle. Back to Hastings for a crossfield kick, which Halifax don't field very well. Sam Wood picks up the pieces for Halifax, who are looking for a quick play of the ball. Liam Cooper. Well, that's a big hit on Cooper by Burgess, who rolled him over and tried to keep on a bit too long. Heaton squeezes the pass out to Will Sharp, but Sharp unable to get away from the defence of Burke and Louis. Grady gets it away to Woods. Woods caught on halfway. Halifax tries to use quick hands, but still Salford resilient in defence as Grady gets it away, and Robert Louis steps inside down the touchline, brushes Ben Johnson away, toying with the defence, and eventually Robert Louis goes down. Well, almost teasing the defence there, Robert Louis, not even breaking into full pace, and here they go to the other end of the field, the other side of the field, and Daryl Alfords has knocked on when he could have had a fourth try. And Robert Louis, well, perhaps not teasing the Halifax defence, perhaps the year's getting the better of him. He looked almost pedestrian there as he went forward, but was still able to swat away Halifax defenders. So plenty of water being taken on for the players during this break. Halifax with a quick passing, desperate to try and get something out of this game. Quick play the ball, Dan Fleming takes the pass from Ben Kay, gets to the 40-metre line. Well, Luke Burgess could have had a sleep there. He was on top of Dan Fleming that long. Ben Johnson to Jacob Fairbank. Fairbank 6 metres inside the Salford half. Halifax have Dan Fleming receiving attention. Liam Cooper again surrounded by 3 defenders. Last tackle. Scott Morrell will go to the air. Tester for Chamberlain, as Wellham stood in front of him, but he's lost the ball. Ben Heaton picks it up. Surely there'll be 6. Well, there'll be 6 more tackles, but the first knock on is against Salford. Halifax will get possession. Shame Ben Heaton couldn't get up and make a bit of ground there, because it would have zeroed the tackle count without the need for the scrum. Long pass from Kay to Morrell off the back of the scrum. Morrell gets out to Chester Butler, but Salford defence there. Chester Butler still trying to go forward, and eventually upended by Junior Sow. Dan Fleming quickly back into the action after some running repairs. Salford again, it's Burgess doing a bit of holding down as Grady tries to run the angle back towards the post. Fairbank to Johnson. Johnson goes on his own, and Johnson loses possession. And from inside his own in-goal area, Hastings tries to take it out and loses temper a bit there as Fairbank comes in, but Salford will get possession. Will they? And they will get possession at the scrum. Watson ready, and Mark Flanagan to return to the field. Daniel Murray. And still 46-4. Liam Wellham's not happy with the attention. Burgess and Tarsi being replaced by Murray and Flanagan. Alfords well away from one, but luckily Halifax had reinforcements with Butler and Morrell. Wood turns it back inside. Fleming launches himself into a big tackle with Chester Butler again. Hastings gets it away to Wellham, and Wellham will be brought down 28 metres out from Halifax line, and Halifax giving away a penalty on the last tackle. Well, that's absolutely unforgivable, is that? On the last tackle, Halifax had done well enough to bring Wellham down 30 metres away, and the last tackle kick might not have brought too much of a threat, but now that threat has turned into a possibility of another 6 points perhaps for Salford as they drive forward with Tyrone McCarthy. Eventually goes down again. They managed to draw in 4 Halifax defenders, so that might create an opening further out, although Greg Burke's gone back up the middle and stopped 2 metres out. And still they rely on the charge down the middle. Now it may go out. Lussick, Hastings will go back himself, untouched through the Halifax defence. For the referee to give another try that brings up the 50 points. Jackson Hastings' second try brings up the 50 for Salford. No bad day at the office for Halifax this afternoon. Well, I thought of going to Hull KR next week on the back of their win. It will probably fill Halifax with trepidation after this performance against Salford. Dominant performance from the men from the AJ Bell Stadium under the tutelage of Ian Watson. And Jackson Hastings, having earned his money, leaves the field. Burgess is going back on. Well, it would be difficult to see somebody like Jackson Hastings not being an attractive prospect for Super League clubs a bit further up the table than Salford are. So Halifax will glad to be sitting at the back of him for now, no doubt. With less than 15 minutes to go, Halifax only that one score to show for their efforts as Dan Murray is stopped by Liam Cooper and Dan Fleming. McCarthy to the 20 metre line, Cooper around the out legs making the tackle. Josh Wood will almost seal the Halifax defence there. Showed signs of his promise when he spent some games here last season. Almost showing his potential there, but Halifax defence back. Now it's with Greg Burke. Burke over halfway. Lussick moves into acting half, and Wood will kick the ball downfield too far and too strong. Halifax will be able to come back for the tap on the 20. And Will Sharp only just managed to get hold of that pass from Kieran Moss, who's played a lot more from acting half in this second 40. Chester Butler takes the ball up to the 40 metre line. Junior Sow pleading his innocence, but the legs came together there, and Halifax will get a penalty. Less than 13 minutes to go, and Halifax still looking for some consolation in this game. One game they've really not managed to get into the swing of things and dominate their opponents as they have done previously. Liam Cooper looking round for support. Kieran Moss just a metre too late getting there. Brandon Moore goes, and there's an offside against Salford, so Halifax will still be able to maintain that pressure they've been putting on the Salford line. Fairbank wrote one up the middle into the heart of the Salford defence. Scott Morrell out to Kieran Moss. Good ball. Chester Butler trying to find a way through, and Chester Butler almost there but not quite. Tangata throws a long pass away to Fairbank, but the ball goes to ground. Well, had it stuck, Fairbank would have been under the post. Well, it had to be worth trying. Adam Tangata obviously saw there was a gap in front of Jacob Fairbank. Trying to put the pass there, but the pass just beyond the reaches of Jacob Fairbank and fall into the ground again. Salford to bring it away. They look like contact with the head there from Sam Woods. He's got back up and had a second go at the tackle. Lussick to McCarthy. McCarthy put down on the 30 by Cooper and Johnson. Johnson there again and launched himself into the tackle as a third man after Fleming had Cade done it, and Halifax caught one in there as Lussick goes forward. Kieran Moss, well, he did a good job of slowing him down, and the referee said the tackle was made and the held was called, so he'll go back to play the ball just inside the 30. Woods turns it inside for Murray. Last tackle, Woods to kick through again. Will Sharp from the in-goal area. Well, it's like a mighty effort to get out of there. He tried his best in Will Sharp, but there were 5 Salford defenders waiting for him to make sure he stayed behind that white line and in the in-goal area. So St Helens forced to drop out. Scott Morrell with a dropout. Chamberlain gives it inside to Burke, and Burke sets off back towards Halifax defence. Put down by Fleming and Marr. Hesitation there, but Murray is that takes it up. It thought it was going to Flanagan initially. Woods to Flanagan. Flanagan sending the Halifax defence the wrong way. Gets the pass back inside, and Murray will charge towards the Halifax line. Can he get himself over? Referee having a look to see where the ball's finished up. Well, Dan Murray will going to have to get up and play it. Woods, oh, too easy for Woods to go through the gap. And Josh Woods spent time with Halifax. There's no doubt about him being a talent who'd come through the Salford youth system. As has Ryan Lannon, not playing today, another man who spent time with Halifax. Jake Bibby, another one that came through the Salford youth system, not playing today, had a game with Halifax against Hull KR last season. Supporters heading for the exits now. We've seen as much as they want to see with 8 minutes still to go. And Halifax waiting for Chamberlain to convert another try. Just to the left hand side of the uprights. Been a dominant performance from Salford. And 30 points in the first half. And 28 in the second. If Chamberlain kicks this, you could probably say it's been a well balanced performance from the men from the AJ Bell Stadium. Well, maybe the week off for the Challenge Cup final has not done Halifax much good. Mr. Marshall said it may have rejuvenated his players, but certainly don't look rejuvenated this afternoon. Wellham gives it inside to Burgess, and Burgess takes it back out into a waiting posse of Halifax defenders. McCarthy driving it forward, and this win will keep Salford on course for a Super League place. Surely the £1 million game at the end of the season. It's going to be a knock-on against Salford. Something for Halifax to cheer at last. There'll be very little of that this afternoon since Sam Wood's early try. Brandon Moore to Ben Johnson. Johnson bringing Moss in. Sam Wood takes up to the Salford defensive line, gets over the 40. That's as far as he goes. The Salford defence moving. Will Marr. Strong run, but 3 defenders there again. And Halifax struggling to unlock this Salford defence. Tangata will have a go and takes it over the 20. Just under 6.5 minutes to go. Marr again gets the ball away to Johnson. Johnson chips through, but Chamberlain will take it, and Ben Heaton cleared him out from behind with a high tackle. Well, not difficult to see because there was only Ben Heaton and Ed Chamberlain there. And Ben Heaton holds his hand up in apology to his teammates. Back out onto the wing while Chamberlain is attended to by the Salford medical staff. Just checking if the birds have stopped tweeting around the head of the Salford winger. It was quite a tackle from behind, was that for Ben Heaton. Certainly left its mark on Ed Chamberlain. Maybe that's a little frustration for the fact that I think it was Chamberlain that took Ben Heaton over the touchline. Well, unlike the opening minutes of the game, and Dan Fleming's got away with that one. Went over the top of McCarthy, who looks at the referee, asking why didn't he get a penalty. Josh Wood takes the ball from Flanagan. Wellham is dragged towards the touchline, but goes down well in field. Chamberlain to Flanagan, another man who spent time at St Helens before going to Australia. And they keep it alive, and Tangata comes up with it. and gets it away to Sam Wood. Sam Wood with work to do, but the Salford defence get back and regroup to bring Wood down. And Chester Butler, nowhere to go there. Salford defence on him as soon as he got the ball, and that's a penalty this time. There's no attempt to move out of the way from Joey Lussick. Morrell puts the ball into touch. Halifax have less than 5 minutes to salvage anything from this game, even a consolation score. Dan Fleming takes the ball over the 40. Scott Morrell gets it to Adam Tangata. Runs back inside, but only finds the Salford defenders waiting for him. Marion Burke bringing down Tangata. Fleming puts the ball in front of Will Maher. Not the best of passes, but Will Maher has done well to drag himself towards that Salford 10-metre line. Brandon Moore gets it to Ben Kay. Ben Kay going for the line, but the Salford defence again managing to get back. Brandon Moore goes one way, then the other. Morrell will kick out wide again, but too high for Will Sharp to get anywhere near that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's Big Man Award, kindly sponsored by the LS28 Supporters Club, goes to Halifax's number 17, Will Mayer. And today's Halifax Man of the Match Award goes to number 24, Kieran Moss. And today's attendance here at the NBA Stadium is 2,550.
Alfort's threatening to break away again to add to his 3 tries, but he's stopped eventually. Fleming tried to slow it down a bit, and Wellham continues to make meters as Salford look to reach the 60 mark before the end of the game. Josh Woods gets through 2 tacklers, gets the ball away. Flanagan gets it to McCarthy. Well, a strong runner, but not the greatest passer. McCarthy caught with the ball just outside the Halifax 20. Burgess 17 metres out, 2.5 minutes left. Woods looks one way, then turns inside. Bundled to the ground by the defence on the last tackle. Kick into the in-goal area. He's helped out by Liam Cooper, so a drop out under the post with 2 minutes to go. Unlikely that Halifax will be able to add anything to that early Sam Wood try. A bright opening, but they seem to lose the way against their full-time opponents from Super League. And this will probably be Salford's biggest win of the season, and even more complimentary to them because it's only the 2nd win away from home, and will give them the confidence going forward for the matches that they face at the end of the qualifiers, and ultimately the £1 million game. Woods gets it away. Ben Heaton went for the intercept, but it evaded him. Chamberlain evaded Ben Heaton, and Cooper makes the tackle eventually. Flanagan gets it away. Sharp was for the interception. Junior Sow is going to get his 2nd try because he managed to retrieve the ball after it bounced off his hand before it went forward. Makes you wonder watching this how Salford finished up in 11th place in Super League. And even without the services of Jackson Hastings for the last 10-15 minutes or so, Salford have still managed to march on and progress and increase the score. Halifax players looking dejected behind the post. There's supporters leave, not Salford supporter leaving, not when they've seen this more than they could have expected this afternoon. They probably expected